Love is blind, some say. I say rather that love overcomes all odds and crosses boundaries. Most thought this man would never find a mate, including himself, but he did, and his wife blew everyone away. Grigory was born in Vladivostok, Russia, and when he was little, everything seemed normal. He was a healthy baby. But when most children learn to walk, Grigory seemed to have a lot of difficulties. His spine curved strangely, and his legs just wouldn't cooperate. He could only stand up if he held onto something, and he wobbled a lot. But the worst part was that he would wake up in the middle of the night, screaming from pain in his back and ribs. After a few visits to the hospital and numerous tests, he was given the diagnosis: spinal muscular atrophy. This meant that Grigory's body would slowly but steadily deteriorate. His muscles, especially those around his spine, would wear out, and he would be unable to perform the most basic movements. It is a genetic disorder, and somehow this 1 in a million gene had been passed down through his parents. There is no known cure for it. Grigory's parents were devastated, especially when doctors told them that their little boy would not live past the age of 5. It is the worst news you can give to a parent. At every visit to the hospital, the medical staff was surprised to see Grigory again. "What, you're still alive?" they would say, as Grigory seemed to defy every prognosis the medical community had established. They tried every possible treatment to help him, from intense physical therapy to stem cell transplants. However, nothing seemed to work, and the young man was slowly getting fed up with being a guinea pig. Despite everything, young Grigory was a fighter and realized early on that he did not want to settle for any predefined destiny. He would be a warrior and determined for himself how he would leave this world. He would not let this disease define him. He had the idea of hiring a hitman who would shoot him from the window of a building across the street, just like in the movies. He told his parents and brother of his plans, and they were shocked. The thought of losing him pained them. Grigory joked about it and told them that he would at least start saving the money to pay the hitman, and if he changed his mind later, he would give them all the money so they could renovate their apartment. Here you can already see the willpower of this young man, and also his ability to play things down. His life motto seems to be, "When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade and have a party." I really admire this positive outlook. It's easy to be happy when everything is going well for you, but to be optimistic and positive when all life seems to conspire against you, well, that takes some strength and determination. But reality could not be denied, and he was trapped in a body that was not doing what he wanted. He needed round-the-clock care and stayed at home most of the time. His parents took care of him, feeding, bathing, and walking him, which was fine when he was still a child, or even a teenager. But as Grigory started to get older, the care began to weigh more and more heavily on his parents' shoulders. He felt suffocated, and had the feeling that his parents treated him like a child, but he also knew that he was dependent on them. Winters were hard because he couldn't really go outside. The cold could give him a chill that could kill him instantly, so only in summer could he venture out in a wheelchair. What would you do if you were trapped all the time like that? I guess we already know a little bit what it's like with all the restrictions we've had to deal with these past few months. But like many have done, Grigory also turned to the internet as his gateway to the rest of the world, as a means to connect and learn. He spent a lot of time on the computer, and in addition to making friends there, he also hoped that maybe he could find someone to connect with, someone as lonely as he was. He wrote that he was looking for someone and typed a sentence below his published profile, a text that would change his life forever. It read, "I'm a dreamer to the marrow of my bones. Enter Anna." More than 3,000 kilometers away from Vladivostok, in a small rural village in Kazakhstan, Anna was surfing the internet when she saw Grigory's post. It hit her full on, and she was instantly hooked. Who was this man who could write such heartbreaking prose? Anna had never felt this way. She had always been the odd one out. As a child, she never felt pretty, and later when she went out with her friends, men never looked at her. At 21, she had given up all hope of ever finding a boyfriend. All her classmates were in relationships, getting married, and thinking about having children, but she was still alone. She felt ugly and heard people whispering behind her back when she went out, calling her a scarecrow and other horrible words. It was painful for her, and her life seemed to fall apart. Anna thought she would always be alone until she read this fateful sentence on the internet. She was in front of the computer with her hands on the keyboard, crying her eyes out and wondering if there would be someone out there. Then she saw it. The same words she had always repeated to herself, one of the mottos of her life. I am a dreamer to the marrow of my bones. She looked closer, saw Grigori's big, kind eyes, his strong face, and was instantly smitten. Grigori had written more, and each sentence was more touching than the last. Anna devoured it all, and soon they connected and wrote many messages back and forth. After a while, it became clear that they wanted more than virtual contact, so Anna hopped on a plane and flew all those miles to meet Grigori. At first, she was surprised to see him. She had never heard of a thing called muscular atrophy, nor had she ever met anyone who looked like him. But looks had never mattered to her, and she could look past all that. Of course, they'd already gotten the idea, since they'd been sending each other pictures of themselves for months. She knew what she was getting into, but she didn't let anything stop her. Their first kiss was a story in itself. It was obvious that they both liked each other, but somehow Anna expected Grigori to make the first move. However, he didn't, which she took to mean he didn't like her anymore. He just couldn't, physically. So when he told her, she moved closer to him, and that was their first kiss. Beyond looks, beyond physical limitations, their love grew stronger every day, and soon they realized that this was it, that they were made for each other. Anna knew she could trust Grigori, that he saw her true personality, that he would always be by her side, and in turn, he knew that Anna loved him for who he was, accepting him fully. Grigori's parents were reluctant at first and kept their distance, but soon their hearts grew fond of Anna, and they saw how well she took care of their son. She took care of everything, feeding him, bathing him, leaving them nothing else to do for their son but love him. They were amazed and slowly began to realize that she was real, and she was 100% in this. It's the stuff of fairy tales, isn't it? I'm amazed and very happy to know that this kind of love exists in the world. If we treated each other with respect and kindness, seeing beyond looks or appearances, and truly accepting everyone for who they are, this world would be a utopia. Of course, Grigori and Anna had to get married, and they were walking on clouds. Ever since he was a child, he had wanted to have his own family, but never thought it would happen to him. Everything was a miracle. All his dreams were coming true. Meanwhile, the outside world could not believe their eyes. When the news broke that they were getting married, everyone's jaw dropped. Was she going to marry him? How was that possible? Was he super rich or something? Or was she sick too? People could be mean on the internet, as you probably know, and a whole media storm ensued, but they didn't let any of that stop them or hurt them. And their wedding day came. Anna looked absolutely stunning, and Grigori's eyes lit up when he saw her. She was also beaming, obviously very happy on this very special day for both of them. Both of their entire families were present, and a large gathering of friends, and it was a magical and perfect day. After the wedding, normal married life began for Anna and Grigori. They had a lot of trouble finding a place to live, but finally they were able to buy a small apartment. Instead of running away from the evil online community, they continued to take advantage of the possibilities of the internet and started posting on their video blogs about their lives. They shared everything from their domestic problems, renovations in their apartment, to their most surprising news, that Anna was pregnant. In 2017, Alyosha was born, a healthy baby boy. Once again, defying all odds, Anna and Grigori were going full steam ahead, building their life together, sharing their love with the world. Visit their YouTube channel if you are curious to see how they're doing now, and hit the like button if this story has inspired you too. Hope to see you again in our next video.